Hey guys, lots to cover today. We had a lot of whipsaw the past few days, and we definitely followed through on our downside setup across the crypto space and the stock market. Even the bond market felt a lot of pain. You're probably seeing a lot of news on the interest rates spiking. That's why. But this is an update on Bitcoin Cash. Is the low behind us, or do we have a little lower to go? Or is there much worse news coming? Stay tuned to find out. This is our Bitcoin Cash chart. And as you can see, we had our upside setup invalidate. I went over this coin on, I believe, Friday when I did my state of the cryptos update, and I've taken all the blue off of this chart. This is purely the red pattern now. We had our rally off of the May 12th bottom that went, from we had now I'm calling it an ABC rally, a zigzag. That's what it looks best to be identified as. We were counting this as potentially a 5-wave rally, but it wasn't the strongest setup. Some of the other coins had a better setup like Dash and I believe Chainlink. Some of the other ones did. This one did not. So this one was kind of warning us of potential extended downside earlier than most of the other coins. And again, downside we had. When we look at this thing from our peak on about May 14th, we had what could be considered a first wave. I know I got a lot of clutter here. So this was our first wave down, second wave bounce that topped on May 31st. And it's been a lot of downside action ever since. When we look at our Fibonacci extensions, we should have gotten into this pink box, whether it is an impulse or an ending diagonal. We didn't see it go down there. So there's still the potential that we have a lower low to come. So I'm going to put this caption right here. And I'm actually going to delete this because we totally broke down through that box. That box isn't even necessary anymore. So we did break down through. So therefore, because we do have a lower low now, we can call our previous spike the actual third wave down, the subsequent bounce, the fourth wave up in our larger C wave down. And this is the final follow through, the last leg of the downside action. And as I mentioned, we got right up to about where third waves typically get, between the 1.32 and 1.618 extensions. So therefore, we may still have a nominally lower low that takes us a little bit lower, below $100. That is my primary expectation at this time. We'll see if we rally a little bit higher. If we start breaking all the way up through 162, then there's a very good chance that this crashes behind us. But we need to see more of a 5-wave impulse structure before we can call this complete. When we look at some of the other cryptos, the main OG crypto, Bitcoin, it had a really funky 1-2 setup. So it was really difficult to project proper downside. And we definitely broke a lot lower than I was expecting. I think I had a low target of 24.4, maybe 22. We actually got down to 20,000. Ethereum is a little bit easier to follow, but it too went a little lower than we expected. Our standard extension was expecting about 1087. We actually broke into the low thousands range. I think 1016 turned out to be our low. So Ethereum definitely looks like it's done. And when we look at the MACD, there's a divergence. This could be 3 waves up. It's got that look. If we can get one more high after this, that would be 5 waves up potentially. And when we look at Dash had a very clean pattern. It actually hit our target almost perfectly. Our target was somewhere between 41 and 38.64. It hit that 2.0 extension. So this is almost a textbook pullback so far. We have that MACD divergence. So that's a good sign in some of the altcoins that were done. Now back to Bitcoin Cash. When I look at that MACD, same kind of thing. As we've had lower prices, we've had less and less stretch on the MACD, which is what you want to see, a divergence. Doesn't mean we can't still get the lower low, but if we get that lower low, very good chance the MACD doesn't go down too much further. Could be a slow grinding pullback, or maybe we're done. We're going to have to see how we follow through. When we look at our big picture chart, I've changed a few things on here, but before I do that, I actually almost forgot. A lot of the action we're seeing is similar to the stock market. So we actually did hit low enough to complete our downside action. This is the S&P 500 futures, and there's still a very strong chance we have a little bit lower. So maybe a little bit below 3,700, maybe 3,660, something like that. Although we've had some pretty nice action up off the low. It looks very corrective. It doesn't look like an impulse at all. You could call this an A, B, and a C wave. And it looks like the Fed meeting had some impact on it, maybe acted as a catalyst for a lot of volatility and whipsaw we saw in the afternoon. So again, all these assets are seemingly correlated at the moment. So until we see a break, we can at least make some inferences from other asset classes. So I've changed things up. I've cleared this whole chart up. And in our, there was that orange pattern. The orange has actually become primary. So I know it says red primary. I relabeled my orange as red just because they're basically the same thing. Our red called for a low on, again, whenever we hit it May 12th of 152 or whatever that was. However, we've gone lower. So we've officially followed through on that orange alternate pattern of going a bit lower. And we've actually hit one of the targets almost to 105. Like I mentioned, we may see a little lower, but that would be a high likely, very likely the lowest we would go. I actually had this written in the caption here, although we could fall through to the bottom of the box. I don't see that as a strong possibility right now, maybe the mid 80s range. And well, after that, we should continue to see, well, we'll see a sharp reversal because this is an ending diagonal. You see the trend channel lines. I'm going to zoom up a little bit. So we're looking at this as a very choppy, very funky looking ending diagonal, but it follows all the characteristics or most of the characteristics. Whether this is the first wave down or that one is not totally clear. You can count it a number of different ways, but it follows a trend line. And after ending diagonals, typically you see a very powerful reversal. So this could be a very sharp reversal, as steep as the crash we've seen since March 30th. So our first wave could get us to that upper 300 range very quickly if that is the case. Now, before I move on with more of what we're expecting in the short term, you can see that we obviously have a nice MACD divergence. I want to go over what I've done to revise the overall pattern. As I've been mentioning, in most of these younger cryptocurrencies, this is best identified as a major third wave top. That's what we have in Bitcoin and Dash and Ethereum. I always bring up the Dash chart just to give a nice overview of why that is. So if we look at the extended history of Dash, you clearly have a first and second wave back here. And that is definitely a third wave. It falls within the right proportions. Bitcoin is even more, argues even more from that perspective that is definitely a third wave up. When we look at Ethereum, same kind of thing. It looks like a major third wave, with the first wave being way back in 2016, probably before Bitcoin Cash existed. So for that reason, in most of these newer altcoins, I'm looking at this as a third wave, well, major third wave, larger degree third wave. And this crash here, in the case of Bitcoin Cash, back in December 2018, that was the bottom of our fourth wave. And so far, we've had a big zigzag rally, A, B, C, clearly three-wave count here. Very choppy. If you look at the internals, this looks most like a B wave because of zigzag. And then this could be an impulse. That's how I'm counting that. It has impulsive looking proportions within. So that's a C wave. So therefore, because I'm assuming that we are following some kind of a diagonal for the entire structure, we expect a three-wave rally to finish our fifth wave. So once again, that's the third wave. This is about the fourth. And we expect a big zigzag rally to finish our fifth wave. Why a zigzag? Because within diagonals, each of your internal waves, subwaves, has three-wave form. So again, I can demonstrate with Dash how when we look at our first wave, that is a B, C, clear zigzag pattern. Here, it's not as clear if this is a zigzag or not, but I count it as such. And you can see the pullbacks were also zigzags. There's other coins that demonstrate better, but hopefully you catch my drift. So therefore, I see this entire rally as an A wave and the subsequent pullback as a B wave. I've deleted the 1-2-1-2 nest setups and all that because we did break our low from 2020 in this case. However, our major support sits lower back at the, again, the December 2018 low. So for that reason, the last leg of this rally should take the form of an impulse, a C wave impulse to be exact. So I have this drawn out here. And again, using symmetry, we should expect this to get into the upper 300s range. It's a good chance we go even higher than that because on our big picture chart, we have a lot of Fibonacci confluence up in the zone. We had our all-time high right around 4,000, a little bit below that. And when we project up where we should go, when we look at, assuming this is a third wave top and a fourth wave bottom, if we assume a 30% retrace, somewhere in this range from 4,000 up to 13,000 plus, again, ridiculous numbers. So take with a grain of salt. When we use this A wave and this B wave, when we take a Fibonacci sequence off of that, it projects a little bit differently. I don't think I have this update. I'm going to actually update this just so you guys get a better idea of where we could end up. So our 1.0 extension off of this whole rally takes to about 2413. That would be a probable minimum topping target. We could go as high as 7833. Yeah, we could go up to the 1.61 extension. I don't see that as a high possibility right now, but there's a lot of confluence in the bottom half of this box. So that's what I'm expecting for us to finish off the rally. At the same time, we could see a parabolic spike up to finish because if it's a fifth wave at the end of a diagonal, you often see outperformance. And well, that wouldn't be unexpected at all. So Bitcoin Cash could have some incredible outperformance if we can turn things around and give ourselves a bit more of a platform to project off of. Now, there is an alternate that I've added on here, a new alternate, which EOS has followed. Dash has this as a potential alternate pattern as well. And that says that we break down below this box and we break the support at 7462. And that would basically mean that this entire correction hasn't completed yet. So this is actually an A, B, and a C wave to finish our actual fourth wave here. So again, our primary pattern says that our major fourth wave was back here. If we break that support, very good chance that this would be our actual fourth wave down. If that's the case, that means we have a much longer, more drawn out, and much higher fifth wave coming. I don't expect this to happen, but if that does happen, we'll have some more projections overhead. I think I have a lower target around $31 if that does happen. So it reset the whole rally structure. So stay tuned for details on that. Subscribe so you don't miss those, because again, we're still looking for some more upside action in the next few days. Let's see if we break through the top of this thing. As I mentioned, I'm not completely convinced that the stock market is ready to rebound all the way just yet. So we may see a nominal lower low tomorrow, maybe a day after. Within the next 24 to 48 hours, we'll see if the cryptos follow suit as well. And keep an eye on, again, things like Ethereum Classic, of course, Bitcoin, Ethereum, and Dash, because a lot of those move very quickly. Ethereum Classic often tears upwards or downwards ahead of most of the other altcoins. So there you have it, Bitcoin Cash. I'll be putting out more updates. If you don't see your favorite coin updates coming out, check out my State of the Cryptos videos. I cover everything, and I always touch on Bitcoin Cash. And I almost forgot to mention, if you like these charts, they are in a link below in the description. Check them out there. If you enjoy my video, don't forget to give me a like. Till next time, thanks for watching and happy trading.